Please welcome ICE Nweke, a true creative force. He is a true creative force with over 15 years of experience. ICE is a multifaceted visual and performing artist. He's an award-winning creative director, VFX artist, set designer, professional dancer, an aspiring filmmaker. He even invented Afro Tap, a dance form showcased to 10,000 dancers at Tap Fest, Washington, D.C. And he's Nigeria's first certified Latin ballroom dancer. ICE is, yes, please, I'm going to give a break so you can clap. ICE is also a renowned dance instructor and choreographer with a 17-year tenure at the Society of Performing Arts in Nigeria. His paintings have graced exhibitions in Lagos and New York, and he is sought after speed painter. Yes. Do you know what that is?
No, actually.
Okay, think about speed and think about painting. Yes, speed painter. A chef, an actor to boot. I know. ICE's diverse talents have earned him the title of creative genius. Let's give a warm welcome to ICE Nweke.
Good evening. Wow, that was a long read. But we give glory to God about it. I learned something growing up. There was this trick that Jacob did when he was about to leave Laban. I've always said I learned something from that he got the sheep when they were in the heat, when they were mating, to look at branches that he has cut. So when they gave birth to what they were looking at. So that never left me. I believe that when you are in the heat of something, especially when you are creating something, or if you are in an environment where you are birthing something, what you look at is very important, because that is what you give birth to. At the age of 5, at least, I think, my dad got me, before that time, my dad got me 3 films that sort of, I guess it's still in the plan. I believe that the way the earth is wired, based on God's own plan, that he said that even when you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. He made sure that every part of our life, whether you are in the world or not, you're not in the world, everything about what will make you is always constantly revolving around you. It's left for you the day you wake up to see it, and then you start working in it. My dad bought 3 films. One was Electric Boogaloo, which was breaking, the first ever breakdance film. The second one was Romeo and Juliet, the first ever classical Romeo and Juliet that was a pantomime done in a way that I've never seen before. I think the movie came out in 1975. And then the last one was Charlie Chaplin. So I spent time laughing as a little child growing up. And I spent time watching. I think I watched those films till they left the VHS tape. I watched it till it was gone. But I didn't know that seeds that were being sown in as a little child growing up. But I couldn't still dance. I mean, if you know people that like card games back then in school, when you have all those football games and everything, you can treasure it. It's a big treasure. I gave out all of that to my friends that could dance, so they can just dance in front of me, and they will dance, and I'll laugh, and I'll scream, and I'll tell them to do it again. I literally was selling everything I had to just get them to dance for me. All through primary school, all through secondary school, I still couldn't dance. And then in the university, I found out I could dance somehow. And from dancing, I became like the first 10 in my department that the department would take serious for traditional dance. I was among the first 10. And by then I was drawing. I was doing almost every most beautiful girl poster in school. I was the go-to guy to draw them, make them up and everything. So that was for me, living, doing theater, doing designs, going party, having fun, and just living life. And then, and one thing I always love about Nigeria, I love Nigeria. I love Nigeria more than any other country. Nigeria is not structured. It shouldn't be where it should be. But the issues in the country sort of, if you somehow could adapt to it, it can make you beat it and rule it and have dominion over it. And so what happened in, I think it's around 2000, there was a strike that happened in school, lasted for 6 months. Everybody left school. By then I was moving from theater arts to, I went to leave theater arts to visual arts. My HOD chased me out, said like some of the best students shouldn't leave, because I was like, every play, I was building the set for every play. I would light for every play. If I can't light or build, I'll probably act, because I had Sam Dede as my school father then. So I was literally fully into theater. But a part of me was pulling me to go into visual, because I love to draw, I love to paint. But the only thing I could draw or paint in school was show posters that I could do overnight, and that wasn't, for me, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Even though my father insisted that I go into architecture, he did everything humanly possible, like everything. Because back then, artists, you see them on the roadside. So you're like, my first son cannot be a roadside artist, so you should better go and learn how to architecture and everything. And for me to learn architecture, I had to do physics. And I read physics. Trust me, I read physics. And I read it, and I read it. And I failed it, and I failed it. And I had to tell him that the way he saw me read night and day, and I still failed, it should be a sign that we should not push this. So somehow he allowed me to continue in the arts. So when I wanted to switch from theater to visual, the HOD was like, it's not happening. So I had to wait 1 more year for him to leave the department so I can switch to visual arts. So while I was doing visual, and it was a bit of a struggle, because I was like a joke in the department. You're like, you think this is acting where you can just jump here, dance here. This is serious work. And the interesting part was that when I was transiting from theater to visual, it was the same period I got saved. So it was a major issue, in the sense that being in theater, I was constantly having the parties, having the friends, having connections, because you're always on stage. Everybody wants to know, everyone wants to hang out with you. And I had access to a lot of things. But the process of me getting saved, the guy preached me till I got dizzy. Like, he was preaching I think he preached for an hour. I would squat, he would squat down with me. I would stand, because I was tired of standing. But finally, when I gave my life, I was like, God, I'm doing this because I want to go all in. So I was literally counting all the costs of going all in and not going back. Because I saw a lot of people, today they are saved, the next day they are the opposite. So switching to visual arts, the demand was completely different. But like, okay, what you used to do to get the funds, you can't do that anymore. So I had to like be, in a better word, legit in everything that I'm doing, so that this Christianity that I'm saying is clear. And I remember the first time I walked into the class, I couldn't afford, because practically halfway through school, I paid myself through university out. I couldn't afford most of the art materials, so I had to use a nail to hang my canvas on the wall. And for mostly art students, they will give you something to paint, but probably like this light stand here. Everybody's sitting around this, so I don't have the setup, the easel to set up and everything. So I had to hang it on the wall. So I would face the wall and I'll look at the stuff, and I was like a serious laughing stock. So when and so I just told God, it's you that I'm serving now. So if this is the way, the Christian way, no problem. It's the two of us that they will be laughing. So, and the funny part was that same period, I got a simple instruction. which was almost the same period went on that 6-month strike. Two ladies were passing the window of this painting studio in school, and I heard the Holy Spirit whisper, "Ice, in your former life, those two ladies, before they get to the bike to get to their hostel, you probably will have their number." I said, "Yes." So, yes, I know that. What are you saying now? Should I go and ask them for their number? He said, "No. Go and ask them," which is very crazy. Go and ask them if any of them wants a painting, and you do it for 2,000 naira. I said, like, 2,000 naira, who does that for 2,000 naira? But like, God. So by the time when I was done with the argument, the ladies have gone. They've entered the back and they've gone. So the next day was a Sunday, so I went to church. So I was leaving, I heard this thing again. That your friend asked her for a painting, that all she needs is to give you 2,000 naira. I said, okay. When I told her, she thought I've lost it. But like, 2,000 naira, are you okay? I'm like, please, just 2,000 naira. And she gave me her picture. I said, and she's been desiring to paint herself. So she gave me 2,000 naira there and then. I took the picture and I was like, that money is for the art materials you need, which you don't have in class because you've been begging people for art materials. So I just used the 2,000 and bought what I needed. And I did her painting. The day I was taking it to the carpenter to stretch, but then the school was on that 6 months strike. I asked for, a guy stopped me on the road, like, "Oh, nice painting. Who did that?" I was like, "It's me." He said, "It's a lie." I was like, "I'm the one that did it." He said, "It's a lie." "Okay, take me to your studio." So I took him to where I was living. Same wall, another wall, nail there, bucket of paint, flattened spoon to use to mix the paint. We're like, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yes." He said he works with the local government people in Bayelsa, and they have about 20 people that they want to do a send-off to. They need portraits of them. And I bought like, it's 2,000 naira. Guy was like, I was following instructions. I'm going somewhere. I was following instructions. And the guy said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes." Then and then the guy counted the 2,000 for the 25, gave it to me. I bought all the material. By the time school came back, I was leading my sets and the sets before me. But that was not even what put me on the path where I was. What put me on that path was that same period was the best time ever. They've gone back home. They've come for holiday. I stayed back in school, and I had a lot of conversations with myself, with God, and with the Holy One. Like, God, I can dance very well. I paint. You threw me into theater. As much as I fought to enter IMT, which I would have just narrowed my focus down to just visual arts, somehow you brought me to Uniport, and I ended up going to theater arts and now visual arts. Why is it that all the exams that I tried to get out of this to just none of them passed? Even my jam, I didn't even see it. So I need to understand. So that was the period I was reading this book on Maximize the Moment by T.D. Jakes. So I went on that sabbatical with me, God, and my art, and he pointed out something clear to me, that everything I've given you is under art, everything. For now, what you're doing in school now, which is dancing and painting, focus on it and master it. There will be a time frame where you will not have time to be learning it, doing it, because you need room for other things to grow into. So I used that 6 months to rearrange my focus. So by the time my fellow classmates came back, lecturers came back, and a lot of things changed. My assignments, lecturers were using it as a lecture. Lecturers were telling the students that I am a lecturer, not a student, even when the students want to complain. So I found out that a lot of things changed because my mind shifted and I understood what I am. I started seeing clearly why some were giving 5. It was a whole lot of responsibility. You don't have time for yourself. Like, you have to find the fun in what you're giving. Otherwise, you lose traction in what you should do. So I continued in that way, left school, continued. But by the time I came into Lagos, I knew that there was a time for me to move into another space, because now the painting is not a problem, the dance is not a problem, but the dance needed to grow, because part of the instruction was you need to take the dance to a level of mastery, because Nigerian system didn't give me that room. So that's when I went further to start training to get masters in dance. And then while doing that, I was still working on the set, theater, getting more back why. So the seeds that were sown back then, what I looked at over and over, little growing up, what I went through school, started becoming part of, started making sense with the little dreams I would have here and there. Oh, shows, productions, sets, lights, screens. I was literally seeing so all those things started making sense. So I started basically aligning myself to everything. And one thing I've always learned for myself is that I try to hear. There was a day I was walking in one of the corridors in school. It was a dark corridor. I felt almost like my tomorrow was at the end of that corridor, beckoning on me to move closer. And the Spirit of God told me that your tomorrow is always ahead of you. What you need to do is align constantly to see the steps you're meant to take. So the steps you're meant to take, my word is like a lamp unto your feet, a light unto your path. If you follow through it, because I knew you when you were in your mother's womb, I know how I've planned out your stuff. So if you follow that path, you constantly become what I created you to be. So even this morning, when I woke up this morning, I was asking myself, how can I define anything about me? There has to be more than just the painting, the sets, or the dance. There has to be more. And that more, I always find that is in God and is in who He has already designed me to be, that I'm constantly chasing after. Because the more I become that, the closer I am to being who he has made me to be, and the closer I am to Him. The far away I drift from it, the far away I lose focus on everything, because the world can pull you in so many ways. And the wake of AI and what AI is doing, because I'm into tech, because I've done a couple of NFT drops, and I go fully in. I love tech. I love the tech. AI is the future. I always teach my friends that AI is in the Bible. So everything is in everything. There's nothing outside it. There's nothing in the world that is not in the scriptures. So I believe that the future has to do with tech, and the more I understand it, to use it as a tool, and than it not overriding how I think, will make me more and more of a greater influence on this earth itself. So that's, in a short form, I hope I've been able to explain my journey.